pledge. Who?
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, will you lead us in prayer?
I told him not to sit down.
Father God, you are the God of provision. We thank you for all the ways that you take care of us. Bless each member of this body today. Use them as they decide how to provide for the city. Help them be guided by your wisdom, your will, and your eternal good purpose. I pray this in the name of your Son, the Savior, Jesus Christ.
Will do. Will I say the pledge, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, what'd you call this meeting for?
We gotta get some money passed.
That's what I'm talking about.
Miss City Clerk, you call the roll.
Mayor McClinton,
Present.
City Attorney Stevenson,
Here.
City Treasurer Martin,
Here.
Councilor Croom,
Here.
Councilor Hutchison, Councilor Robertson,
Present.
Councilor Cat,
Here.
Councilor Pulliam,
Here.
Councilor Harris, Councilor Willis,
Here.
Councilor Mundy, Councilor Harris,
Well, we got a quorum, 7 out of 9 is present. We have a set of minutes that we need to approve that we neglected to get a second on for the January 3rd meeting. And also we got to approve the meetings of today. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes January the 3rd?
So moved.
Also, can I get a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve our minutes for January 23rd.
So move.
Third. January 3rd.
January 3rd and January the 23rd.
January, both. We're approving the minutes because we neglected to get a motion and a second for January the 3rd. And we also approving the minutes for today, January 23rd. We had no old business. All in favor?
Aye.
And this is for the 3rd and the 23rd.
Correct. Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Both sets of minutes have been approved. We have no old business. We're going to go to our new business, which is the budget approval.
Mayor, I'm going to turn this over to Frank, but basically we've taken, Frank has made several adjustments throughout the budget, and all the payroll data that we've been going over in the month of January will be incorporated into the budget. So I'm asking as budget chairman for approval of this budget subject to the HR recommendations after they're reviewed by administration.
The main change in this is that we versus our conversations, I moved out the capital improvement purchases in the general fund, specifically the mayor's auto, the police cars, and the fire equipment into a capital purchases fund, which is $2,700. That's where it is. And by moving that out and making some of the adjustments for us, like I had the error I made by keeping in the bus service, the 128,000 bus service, by moving that out. That made the adjustment on the allowance for cash reserves to $293,767. Last year, the budget we approved had cash reserves of $787,886 we were using allowance. So therefore, we're roughly $500,000 better off with this budget right now as we were last year at this time with the 2018 budget. There's been no other changes, and as far as I know, there's no other raises in here that we.
Can I say something before we go to the motion in a second, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Since you was in the discussion phase.
Yeah.
My question that I want to ask, and y'all have to excuse me, I'm kind of hoarse a little bit today. My question, and I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, I know that we're planning on waiting because we're trying to work out some things for July, for the budget, July 1st. But I just want to back up 1 minute because I know the utility department, and they're not coming out of the general fund. I mean, they're coming out of the general fund, but my point that I'm trying to make is they're self-supported. Now, when we started on this journey, we was talking about giving, different departments and things a raise. Now, to me, the utilities should have already had their raises back some time ago. And I know the general manager took his time to try to look and make sure that, for us to pay itself was, trying to balance it out. So my question is, I'm just saying, do we really think that they need to wait till July? Because the funds for them to get their raises are already there. And I know what we're trying to do. And I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just saying, should we? Because first of all, we started on that journey with them like 6-7 months ago.
July.
Well, it was a long time back. And they could have already been set. And I just think, to me, this is what I'm saying. I truly believe that, we doing them a disservice. And I understand everybody else, like I said, they're being paid out the general fund, and we got to balance the budget on their end because of how the money come in versus their money is already there. And I just think we ought to take that in consideration. We really should.
Mr. Mayor, we did talk about that before, and just to refresh everybody's memory, the utility general manager came in here and literally over 6 weeks went over his proposed changes by doing away with positions, and that the other departments were doing the same type of deal and refunding, and that was approved. This council approved those changes to take effective January the 1st. However, it got mashed in with everybody else's, so it's been put off. But I totally agree that in this particular case, since the council looked at this in depth for over a 6-week period, I think that's an appropriate thing to do.
And I think we should. And like I say, again, the July 1st, I'm all for it because we got to make sure that we are balanced before we can do anything else. But their money is there. And like I said, they worked on this for I know, look, 5 months for sure. You're saying 6, but I know 5 months for sure. And I just think that we owe them that.
To me, if the council considers that, I would say let's approve this budget and then maybe make the motion to put their budget, the 2019 budget, in effect. That's unless there's a city attorney, there's a better way of doing it. I don't know.
Well, I think that's the way we should do it because they basically prepared us for their raise.
Yeah, so that's up to this council, but.
If I may ask, in flipping through the budget, and I thought this is what had transpired, so when we met with utility, all that had been approved was presented to you to put in the budget. As I'm glancing through here, there are several salary positions that have been increased as far as our total line item goes, so I assumed it was already in here.
No, it's not in there.
You have not increased any line item in here?
No, this utility budget, the only thing in that budget, utility, if there's any budget, would be step raises or something like that. There's been no salary
Well, I'm looking at utility went from 450 to 490. That's the reason I assumed it was already in there. That's
No.
not step raises.
No, there's not. That change in that budget would be $120,000.
Okay.
That would be the change.
So this 40 is step raises.
That's it. It's not part of that.
Okay.
There's been, as far as I know, there's no increase of anybody's.
I just assumed you'd already incorporated them.
So,
Water department went from 604 to 677.
But the different departments, I'm looking at the total budget. The total budget for the utility would have increased $120,000 if they would have been implemented. The
I
whole budget.
understand, but I'm just, it appears they're already in there, but if they're not, they're not.
They're not.
But, okay. Because that's roughly $110,000 there just
But
in two
there's others
departments.
down, way down.
I understand, but that's,
Which-
okay.
which-
He wasn't restructuring, he moved some positions around.
He did move them around, but
Yeah.
didn't increase the
Okay.
budget any.
I know, some of them went down.
Yes.
So I assume
So-
you already made those adjustments.
So.
Okay.
No, the requested changes that y'all went over back in July and
Okay,
August.
you have not incorporated.
Has not been incorporated in
Okay.
there.
so
Mr. Crowe?
Are we asked to approve this budget today? Is that what we're asked to do?
Yes.
Yeah, we got to approve it
This
before the
budget right here.
31st.
For the 31st, we got to approve. We don't have
We got no
choice.
choice.
That long.
Ms. Robinson?
I think since there's so much discussion on this utility raise, maybe we just need to table that for a while and discuss that a little bit more, because there seem to be a lot of conflicts at this
Well,
particular
let me-
time
let
on
me-
that. I
let-
mean, we can pass our budget without.
True.
Without increasing anything right now.
True.
As far as raises. And since there's so much conflict over it, and I can see here, we're talking about the 450, from the 450 to the 490, what happened in between there?
You gotta look at the whole fund. If you look at an individual account in the utility fund, some of those numbers were changed around, but the whole fund, the utility revenue versus
Right.
expense, the expenses fund have not been changed. Any benefits, total benefits have not been changed.
Okay.
Individually, there was some money moved around within that department, but the whole fund, and with no raises being done. And that was gone over. 6-week period, y'all looked at that 6 weeks
Yeah.
and approved it. Back in August.
Mr. Martin, my question is, why was it, what is the reasons that it was moved around?
Oh, well, he was just getting ready for this, because that was what he was doing. The general manager worked with his department heads, and that was the positions he wanted to change around when y'all got a chance to approve it. So he was ready for it, but there's been no increases in salaries in anybody that I'm aware of in the whole city.
So Frank, the difference between the 2018 and 2019 budget is about $250,000, is that what it is?
Nope. It's about 200,000. Yeah, you're right. But it's a little under a quarter.
$250,000.
Well, can I just go ahead and do this then?
Yeah.
And I mean, like Alderman Robinson say, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we approve the budget, this budget. And at this point in time, so we can get that out the way, then we can come back to this utility thing.
I second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The budget passes.
Thank y'all.
Okay, so now, back to the utility deal. Again, I think that we should follow through, because to me, I mean, this is what we had said that we was gonna do, department by department. Each one of them working to give their employees a raise. So they worked to do this, and here we are, and I'm just saying, I mean, I don't think that they should have to wait until the end, because, I mean, they have the money in their budget. It's not like they got to run out and we trying to figure out and move stuff around to find it. It's already there.
Right.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we said July the 1st, I'm not July the 1st.
January.
January 1, I think that it should, today, I'm gonna say today.
February 1st, yeah.
February 1st, take effect, since January was gone.
With the understanding that it is not in this budget.
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah.
Okay, I see.
Second?
Yeah.
I second that.
Sure, come on up top.
I'm confused too.
That's why I'm not one of the.
Whenever we first met about this, y'all had approved, the council had approved for me to go ahead and do my 2019 budget with my salaries included, with the understanding that it potentially might not pass, but to go ahead with the new job descriptions and the salaries that I'm proposing incorporated into the budget. That is what my commission approved also, is those increases in salaries. Now, if you went back and pulled that back out, then I don't know, but the budget that y'all reviewed during budget meetings had my salaries included in it.
Name this budget?
I haven't seen that, Frank. I don't see that, but what I was directed by city council was that to include my step increases and based on the new pay scale that I had proposed. And it was included in my budget.
I know, I didn't put it in there.
I did.
Okay.
And then we went over it at budget meetings. 'Cause remember, during budget meetings, we had long discussions concerning my specific department. I don't ever see that. That's the printout of what is.
Well, where we at with that, just like Alderman Hudson say, with understanding that it's not in here, so I mean, the confusion, I mean, it's already diffused, because the motion was with the understanding that it's not in the budget. And therefore, the finance person, they work it out.
Okay. I think it's in there. If he used my numbers, it's in there.
Yeah, probably Mr. Martin said that he didn't think it was, that's where we're going back.
So it'll be effective February 1st.
Correct.
If it's in here already, we don't have to reapprove it.
That's,
No,
that's
that's the minute thing, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
now, what we want to know is, you're saying that is there a finance?
I'm looking at a $300,000
decrease.
decrease in expenses, and that's what I didn't think was in there.
But what's my increase specifically to salaries?
So far, I've looked at about 113,000. But, you know, that's just two departments. Some went down.
Yeah,
some
or
went up.
some
And then
stayed
you're
right there.
reshuffling personnel, rewriting job
That's why the
descriptions.
changes made.
I don't have your presentation here that you gave us several months ago.
And I don't have mine
But when
either.
I first looked at it, I thought, well, it's already in there. You gave Frank the
And
end.
it's a balanced budget.
But again, as the motion on the floor is that we go ahead.
Approve those recommendations,
Yeah.
subject to HR finishing up the little fine tuning they need to do to make those other raises effective July 1.
132,
That's the number that I propose.
okay.
Okay.
Go in there.
Well, that's
So it's
120.
there?
My
Yeah.
salary is going to go
It's
up by
there?
132.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, another reason this needs to be squared away is was because the motion for this budget to be approved, nobody getting anything regardless. I mean, that's what was gonna happen. I mean, it's no raise until July 1. So that's why it comes
Yeah.
forth with this.
So with it being in the budget already and it's approved,
Should be a matter of Frank, I guess,
Just
it's
verify
already
the
in
data.
there.
It's in there.
Well, just like
Saying
Ms. Hudson, Alderman Hudson say, I mean, the motion, I mean, it's nothing for us to vote on it regardless. If it's in there, it's not gonna hurt anything anyway.
Right. Could you tell me one other thing, Mr. Peterson? Who all will be getting these raises? Will it be the entire utility clerks, everybody? Because I don't seem to remember that
everybody did.
discussion. I may not have been present at that one.
Different positions are going, but it is a, I can tell you immediately, salary-wise, there's only 3 positions, and because those positions were below the minimum level, and that's the office manager, the environmental quality manager, and the, no, data processing is not, that she don't work for utilities, purchasing agent, based on the scale. Pretty much across the board, the ones that saw the biggest increases were the office personnel saw some of the largest increases based on their salaries, just because those were so off. But pretty much, it's across, I can tell you some of the upper level lineman positions, some of the, like the first year you become a journeyman lineman, there's no change in that one. That one was already in line with what the market was paying. So those are the ones, I mean, I wish I had I apologize, I do not have what is current versus proposed, but if I had that, I mean, it's, you know, in each one, it depends on your years of service. The longer you've been working for in that position, the more you're going to get also.
So office workers, the clerks at the front window, everybody is
Yes, ma'am, it's across the board. And I can tell you, the customer service clerks were by far the most, based on market, the most underpaid.
so now they're coming up.
Yes, they will be based on, again, basically their top-out pay, where it is currently, is almost their starting pay. And then they'll be paid based on their years of service in that job.
I have one thing on permission to pay the municipal league, permission request.
You got a motion and a second, need to vote on it.
Did we approve the budget?
Not yet.
All right, let me go back to the budget. We got a motion and a second.
I thought we had approved it.
Everybody in favor, by aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, it passes, the budget is approved. Next, we're gonna go to permission request. I need permission to pay the Arkansas Municipal League, and Frank can explain those bills.
Workers' comp, I couldn't do it pay until y'all approved the budget, and it's due tomorrow, so I have to, the workers' comp payment is $492,952. Our legal defense plan is $91,857.50, which is exactly the same thing we paid last year. Workers' comp is 5% below, and our chamber, on our league membership service, which we get the y'all get the magazine for and everything, is $1,877.15, which is the same amount as last year.
Make a motion, we accept.
Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Well, we're gonna pay that bill. We have no committee reports.
Just permission to accept this guarantee agreement.
Okay, also, I need permission to accept the guarantee agreement.
So move.
Second.
Second.
In discussion?
$8 million.
Okay, read it up.
Yes, the guarantee agreement is a debt is being guaranteed, or a payment is being guaranteed to us, so there's nothing wrong with signing this. We're not putting any money out. It's a guarantee that's being made on behalf of another company. Todd Peterson could explain more about it if necessary, but I don't think there's any liability on our part by having the mayor sign off on this guarantee agreement.
Todd, could you come up and just give us a brief, because it was, you know, reading over it and all, it
Pretty standard deal.
sounded good, but
Our current power supply contract, the parent company it's under NRG South Central. That is the LLC that it's under. They are back, we currently have a parent guarantee of this exact amount by NRG Holdings, which is the parent. NRG Holdings is selling NRG South Central to a company called Clico. And part of our contract requires that now the parent stand behind that contract. So basically what this means is if Clico or NRG South Central ever defaults on our power supply contract, they're required to pay us up to $8 million in damages for our power supply contract. Any more questions or discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, well, I accept that agreement. We don't have no committee reports, no appointments, any announcements.
I got something that I would like to say. Which, you know, I know we're talking about our budget, you know, getting everything on track by July 1. But I want to say this, and you know, I'm just hoping, you know, like I say, we can look down the road and start working on salaries for our public safety people. You got to look at a couple things that's going on. Of course, you know, again, we got 3 dispensaries that's getting ready to be built here. We got Southland getting ready to do their expansion, you know, expanding the casino and everything. And I tell people, you know, you got to sit down and look at this. You know, I had 15 years in law enforcement, but I'm going to tell you this. There's a lot of other things that comes with that. And so I think we need to really get our heads together on trying to at least get our officers where at least they're making livable wages. Yeah. Because we got a task ahead of us, and we got to come up with something. I'm just saying, so that they could be actually paid a livable wages. Because I know how it is, most of them with the second jobs and things like that. I mean, you think about it. And when they'll still probably have the second job, but at the same time, I'm just saying, most of them are going out working 2 jobs, almost 2 full-time jobs. Because, and I'm just saying, I just think that we really, you know, I know everybody said, well, you know, we got officers leaving, da-da-da-da. I'm not even thinking about that part of it. I just know that they need to be making livable wages. And we really, truly need to look at something. I mean, for its public service or something, coming up with something that we know that this fund will definitely pay what needs to be paid to them. And so I'm just gonna leave that with us, you know, like I say, you know, I'm one of these people, I like to look down the road, not wait till, you know, trouble comes. So I'm just letting everybody know this is where we need to really be thinking, because our public service, we need to be about our business, though. That's all I had to say.
Councilman Pulliam, I'd just like to add that I have been working with my police department, met with my chief and my assistant chief today, and I'm working on something that we can give a nice increase to our patrolmen and our officers to make sure that we are competitive, you know, with all the cities around us, and they're making a decent wage. So we're working on that now. I definitely understand the importance that we need police and fire, and I think as a council, we're gonna work together to make those things happen. Had no citizen request? Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Frank,